All right, we officially have Gabbie Marshall reconnecting with Caitlin Clark, joining forces in Indianapolis. This is good news. Now, all we got to do is find a way to get rid of Stephanie White and get Kate Martin to Indiana as well. We got to break this down. The Caitlin Clark, Gabbie Marshall reconnection is happening in Indianapolis. We have some stuff to go over on ESPN about this new CBA. We got a lot to get into. Let's not waste any more time. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that.
I'm so proud of you. Those 4 words from Caitlin Clark reverberated far beyond Instagram. They weren't a celebration of a court reunion, but a chilling quietus to a former teammate's unspoken dreams, a polite, brutal rejection echoing through the WNBA. Gabbie Marshall, a legendary Iowa teammate, just moved to Indianapolis, sparking hopes for a return to pro basketball. Yet, Clark's public response, ostensibly supportive of Marshall's partner's career, felt less like encouragement for a tryout, and more like a subtle mock. You've made your choice. Stay off the court. The Fever's silence on a tryout amplified the stinging reality. This wasn't a warm welcome. It was a cold shoulder draped in saccharine praise. The WNBA's new era brings big money, but for some, unexpected quiet goodbyes.
Fire. Gabbie Marshall was a big part of that. So now we have this. Caitlin Clark's Iowa teammate, Gabbie Marshall, announces move to Indiana. Now, we know she has not been playing ball since Iowa. I think she moved to North Carolina or something after Iowa. Now, headed to Indiana to reconnect with CC. Clark was forced to sit out as the Indiana Fever made an unexpected postseason run, pushing the Las Vegas Aces to Game 5. Clark missed out on most of the season, yada, yada, yada. Before Clark was a star in the WNBA,
The reconnection in Indianapolis, celebrated by fans, hit a harsher truth for Gabbie Marshall. Despite the Fever's stark player shortage, only 3 athletes under contract for 2026, Clark included, contingent on deals. No official tryout invitation for Marshall exists. This glaring inaction, given Marshall's history and clear need for talent, speaks volumes. It's a baffling oversight, or perhaps a deliberate statement about her place in the league's future. The speaker's desperate plea for a tryout, arguing for respect from the organization, underscores the uncomfortable reality Marshall isn't being sought. She's left to hope for an unlikely opportunity.
Following her Iowa career, Marshall went on to attend the University of North Carolina, earning her master's degree. Oh, she's smart. Oh, she's smart. So she went on to North Carolina to earn her master's. Marshall has remained supportive of Clark during her WNBA career, attending numerous Fever games to watch her good friend despite being in Chapel Hill. But on Sunday, Marshall's partner, Spencer Turrell, announced on Instagram that he has accepted a job at ETS Performance as the Director of Operations in Indianapolis, which happens to be where Clark and the Fever are located.
Marshall's post-Iowa path sharply diverges from WNBA glitz. After her storied college career alongside Clark, she officially retired from pro basketball following the 2023-24 season. Instead of hoops, Marshall moved to North Carolina, dedicating herself to academics and earning a master's degree. This intelligent pivot showcased her ambition beyond the court, while she remained a vocal supporter of Clark, attending numerous Fever games from Chapel Hill. Her focus had demonstrably shifted. This background makes the current situation poignant. She willingly stepped away, only to have the door potentially slammed shut when an unexpected chance to return presented itself. Her academic success, ironically, might now justify her athletic dismissal.
In Indianapolis, which happens to be where Clark and the Fever are located. So the reconnection is happening. Hey, can we get Gabbie back in the gym, CC? I think she still could shoot the 3 and play some defense. We might need replacement players. You never know with this CBA. Gabbie Marshall, we might have a spot for you. I'm excited to announce I'll be joining ETS Performance HQ as Director of Operations in Indianapolis, Toro wrote on Instagram. And sure enough, soon after Toro's big reveal, Marshall announced that the couple will be moving to Indianapolis soon, putting her and Clark in the same city.
The spark of hope for a Marshall Clark reunion ignited by an unexpected life event. Marshall's partner, Spencer Turo, accepted a Director of Operations role at ETS Performance HQ in Indianapolis. This opportunity for Turo immediately paved the way for Marshall's relocation to the same city as Clark and the Fever. Marshall swiftly confirmed their impending move on Instagram, creating buzz among fans who envisioned a triumphant return to the court. Proximity and Fever's roster needs seemed like perfectly aligned destiny. It was the kind of heartwarming story sports fans crave. However, what seemed like a golden opportunity would soon reveal itself as a cruel twist of fate for Marshall's basketball aspirations.
Assuming she's up for it. Tryout. I think we need to give Gabbie Marshall a tryout. I'm 100% with the Indiana Fever giving Gabbie Marshall a tryout, because at the end of the day, what else do we have here? Like, it ain't that many people under contract. Look, off the strength of CeCe, she should be able to get a tryout. You should at least have enough respect to do that, all right? J.R. Smith was able to get his brother on the team. Giannis Antetokounmpo got the Thanasis Antetokounmpo on the team. All right? Caitlin, at least give Gabbie a tryout now.
The immediate reaction from the sports community, exemplified by the interview speaker, was a resounding call for the Fever to offer Marshall a tryout. I think we need to give Gabbie Marshall a tryout, the speaker emphatically declared, arguing it's the least the team could do out of respect for Clark's influence and Marshall's past contributions. This isn't just a casual suggestion, it's an impassioned plea, underscoring the perceived injustice of a talented former player overlooked despite being in the right place at the right time. The public's desire to see this reunion on the court is palpable, creating immense pressure on the Fever. Yet, that pressure, surprisingly, has yielded no concrete action, leaving Marshall in limbo.
Smith was able to get his brother on the team. Giannis Antetokounmpo got the Thanasis Antetokounmpo on the team. All right? Caitlin, at least give Gabbie a tryout now. I don't want to hear no excuses on why it can't happen. All right, let's get into some CBA talk. Obviously, there's a lot going on and a lot of conversation surrounding the new offer from the WNBA with the $1 million base salary, but they are not interested in continuing to pay for housing for these players and certain things, that stipends and things like that they were giving before. They're basically saying, hey, we're upping.
Caitlin Clark's public response, "I'm so proud of you," posted in reaction to Marshall's Instagram announcement about moving to Indianapolis, has been viewed by some as less a gesture of welcome to the court and more a subtle, even unintentional, dismissal of her basketball potential. When a superstar praises a teammate for a life move rather than acknowledging the obvious athletic opportunity, it raises eyebrows. It could be interpreted as Clark subtly endorsing Marshall's retirement, effectively telling her, "You made the right choice leaving the game." This seemingly innocuous sentiment, framed against Marshall's unfulfilled WNBA aspirations, transforms into a quiet, cutting blow, cementing her perceived rejection from the league.
Conversation surrounding the new offer from the WNBA with the $1 million base salary, but they are not interested in continuing to pay for housing for these players and certain things, that stipends and things like that they were giving before. They're basically saying, hey, we're upping the pay, and now you can cover your own tabs for living and all of this other stuff. A lot of people are up in arms about it. Some people are saying, take the money and do the deal. Let's get the season going. Let's hear what Alexa Philippou had to say about this on ESPN today.
About where things stand at the moment.
Yeah, George, well,
The situation takes on bitter irony, considering Marshall's unwavering support for Clark during her WNBA debut season. Despite retiring from basketball and residing in North Carolina, Marshall frequently traveled to attend Fever games, cheering on her former teammate from the stand. This loyal friendship and genuine enthusiasm for Clark's success makes the current silence from the Fever and the subtle subtext of Clark's comments even more jarring. Marshall was there for Clark, even after her own career ended. Now, with Marshall literally moving to Clark City and meeting an opportunity, the support appears to be a one-way street, underscoring the cutthroat nature of professional sports where sentiment often takes a back seat.
Reported, a lot of people do not agree with them taking housing out of the deal. Some people do. And I just feel like, hey man, listen, If the league minimum is gonna be $225,000, you can go get your own apartment. That's just kind of how I feel. I don't know, but I'm saying you get $1 million contract, you can go get your rent an apartment for however 4 months. Okay, it's not gonna kill you. That's just how I feel. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. This is Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel.
The speaker's frustration boils over, questioning why Marshall isn't granted even a tryout, especially with Clark's significant influence. They draw sharp parallels to other NBA stars who successfully lobbied for family members to join their teams, citing J.R. Smith and Giannis Antetokounmpo. This comparison isn't just about nepotism, it's about the perceived power dynamic. Caitlin, at least give Gabbie a tryout now. I want to hear no excuses on why it can't happen. The speaker asserts. The implication is clear. If Clark truly wanted Marshall on the team, even for a trial, it would happen. The fact that it hasn't implies a profound lack of support. The Indiana Fever's projected roster for the 2026 WNBA season presents a truly baffling scenario, making the absence of a tryout offer for Marshall even more perplexing. The team is expected to have a mere 3 players under contract, including Clark, whose status is also conditional. This extreme shortage of guaranteed talent highlights a significant rebuilding phase, or more accurately, a desperate need for warm bodies to fill out the roster. In such a precarious situation, one would assume the team would jump at the chance to evaluate any available talent, particularly someone with Marshall's pedigree and pre-existing chemistry with their franchise cornerstone. The fact that Marshall remains on the outside looking in speaks volumes about the team's hidden agenda. The speaker issues a direct, impassioned challenge to the Indiana Fever. Give Gabbie Marshall a tryout, no excuses. This isn't a suggestion, it's a demand for basic respect and recognition of Marshall's talent and history. The argument is framed around the team's undeniable need for players, the absence of existing contracts, and the invaluable connection Marshall shares with Caitlin Clark. The speaker views the failure to offer a tryout as an affront, almost a personal slight against Clark herself, whose influence should be enough to secure this minimal opportunity for her former teammate. The refusal to even entertain the idea of her return is seen as an inexplicable and potentially insulting rejection. The drama around Marshall's potential return intersects with the high-stakes negotiations for the WNBA's new collective bargaining agreement, CBA. These talks are reshaping the financial landscape for players, promising unprecedented salaries, but also proposing significant changes to benefits. The league's latest offer includes a substantial raise in base salary, signaling a new era of compensation. However, this comes with a catch. The league intends to cease paying for player housing and other stipends. This shift in priorities from comprehensive support to higher cash compensation creates a complex backdrop for any player considering a return, highlighting the evolving professional demands Marshall would face. The details of the WNBA's latest CBA proposal reveal truly staggering financial incentives, further emphasizing the league's burgeoning growth. The maximum guaranteed base salary for top-tier players is projected to hit an incredible $1 million, with potential total earnings, including revenue sharing, soaring to over $1.2 million. This represents a monumental leap in player compensation, positioning the WNBA as a truly lucrative professional sports option. The average salary across the board is projected to exceed $500,000, while the minimum salary would astonishingly exceed $25,000. These figures paint a picture of a league where financial rewards are becoming substantial, making any rejection from this booming ecosystem even more impactful. The dramatic increase in proposed salaries, $1 million maximum and a $25,000 minimum, fuels a heated debate within the league. Should players now be expected to cover their own housing and living expenses? The league's stance is clear. We're upping the pay and now you can cover your own tabs for living. While some players are understandably up in arms about losing previously covered benefits, others are pragmatic, arguing the new financial package outweighs the loss of stipends. This internal conflict shapes the league's future as players weigh financial independence against comprehensive support. For Marshall, who isn't even in the league, this debate is currently irrelevant, intensifying the feeling of being on the outside. A major component of the new CBA proposal involves a significant increase in the WNBA's salary cap, with projections soaring to $5 million a year. Crucially, this cap would be directly tied to the league's revenue growth, ensuring player compensation scales with the WNBA's overall success. For context, the 2025 salary cap stands at a mere $1.5 million, highlighting the radical financial expansion being discussed. This revenue-sharing model aims to align player and league interests, promising a sustainable future of prosperity. The fact that the league is poised for such explosive financial growth makes it even harder to understand why a talent like Marshall wouldn't be given at least a look, a subtle indication of the Fever's true intention. The WNBA's generous new offer, despite its financial benefits, is not universally accepted by players. There are a lot of differing opinions, with some vehemently disagreeing with the removal of housing stipends and other previously covered benefits. While the money is undeniably attractive, the shift in responsibility for living costs creates division. Some players advocate for accepting the deal and getting the season underway, eager for financial security, while others are prepared to hold out for better terms on benefits. This internal struggle within the player base underscores the complexities of collective bargaining, a world that currently remains closed off to a retired player like Marshall, deepening her isolation from the professional sphere. Both the WNBA and the Players Association share a critical understanding: a new CBA agreement must be reached with urgency. The current extension provides a 6-week runway, implying a strong desire to finalize a deal much sooner, ideally by January. The stakes are incredibly high, as the league cannot afford protracted negotiations that might disrupt the upcoming season or overshadow its growing popularity. This pressing need to finalize the framework for the WNBA's future adds another layer of pressure to roster constructions and player acquisitions. For someone like Marshall, hoping for a tryout, this condensed timeline means decisions are made swiftly, and without an existing contract, her window of opportunity is rapidly shrinking. The speaker doesn't mince words regarding the housing debate, expressing a firm, no-nonsense opinion. If players are earning a minimum of $25,000, they can absolutely afford their own apartments. You can go get it. You can go get your own apartment, they state matter-of-factly, dismissing objections. They calculate that even a $1 million contract allows for covering rent for the 4-month season without significant financial strain. This pragmatic viewpoint highlights a generational shift in athlete expectations and financial literacy. It's a harsh but realistic perspective that underscores the new professional standard: high pay comes with increased personal responsibility. This directly contrasts with Marshall's situation, where even basic living expenses related to playing are a distant dream. Marshall's predicament stands in stark contrast to the WNBA's impending financial boom. While the league is poised to offer salaries that could transform players into millionaires, Gabbie Marshall, a celebrated Iowa legend, remains outside this new golden era. Her move to Indianapolis, initially seen as a catalyst for a triumphant return, has instead exposed a quiet rejection. The league is charting a course towards unprecedented prosperity, but for Marshall, that prosperity appears to be a closed door. This disparity underscores the cold reality that past achievements, even legendary ones, don't guarantee a place in a rapidly evolving professional landscape, especially when the unspoken message is to stay retired. Caitlin Clark's seemingly supportive "I'm so proud of you" takes on a deeper, more troubling implication when viewed through the lens of the Fever's inaction. If Clark, the face of the franchise, isn't actively advocating for Marshall to even receive a tryout, then her words might be interpreted as a tacit agreement with the team's decision to move past her former teammates' playing career. It suggests a subtle reinforcement of the rejection, a gentle push to keep Marshall on her academic and supportive path rather than challenging the WNBA's new competitive landscape. Her words therefore become a reflection of the organization's true stance, delivered with a smile yet carrying the sting of dismissal. The tale of Gabbie Marshall's move to Indianapolis, meant to be a heartwarming reunion, instead exposes the brutal, unspoken truths of professional sports. Despite a desperate need for players, a shared history with the league's biggest star, and public outcry for a chance, the Indiana Fever's silence is deafening. Caitlin Clark's "I'm so proud of you" becomes less a cheer for a teammate's future and more a quiet affirmation of her past, politely but firmly closing the door on her WNBA dreams. Marshall's rejection isn't loud or dramatic, it's a cold, calculated omission. It's a harsh reminder that in the WNBA's new era of big money, sentimentality and past glory hold little sway against the cold, hard business of the game. The whispers began the moment Gabbie Marshall announced her move to Indianapolis. A reunion with Caitlin Clark seemed inevitable, a storybook ending for two Iowa legends. But then Clark's response dropped, a seemingly innocent message that under closer inspection felt like a cold shower for Marshall's WNBA aspirations. Was this a subtle jab? A dismissive nod to a past glory that wouldn't see a future on the court? The dream of playing alongside her friend again was suddenly overshadowed by a stark reality no one expected. This wasn't the heartwarming welcome fans envisioned, but a carefully worded acknowledgement that sparked immediate controversy among those watching closely. Gabbie Marshall, a vital part of that legendary Iowa team, the defensive force alongside Caitlin Clark, made a bombshell announcement that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. After leaving the sport post-college to pursue a master's degree in North Carolina, Marshall was now headed straight to Indiana. This move, driven by her partner Spencer Turo accepting a director position at ETS Performance, placed her squarely in the same city as Clark and the Fever. Fans erupted, seeing it as destiny, a clear path for Marshall to lace up her sneakers once more and rejoin her former teammate, reigniting hopes for an incredible on-court reunion everyone craved. Spencer Turo's Instagram post was the catalyst, revealing his new role as Director of Operations for ETS Performance HQ in Indianapolis. Almost immediately, Marshall echoed the news, confirming the couple's relocation to the same city that houses the Indiana Fever. This wasn't just a personal move. For countless fans, it signaled a seismic shift in the WNBA landscape. The timing felt too perfect, too serendipitous to ignore. The stage was set, the pieces were aligning, and the roar of anticipation for Marshall's potential return to the hardwood alongside her iconic friend grew deafening, fueling intense speculation across social media platforms. Caitlin Clark's reply to Marshall's announcement was brief, concise, and seemingly supportive. "I'm so proud of you." On the surface, it's a friendly message from one friend to another, celebrating a new chapter. But peel back the layers and the context shifts dramatically. Fans were buzzing about a tryout, a second chance, a legendary reunion. Yet Clark's words focused on Marshall's off-court achievement and new life direction. Not a whisper of basketball, not a hint of a shared future on the court. It was an acknowledgement of Marshall's non-playing career, leaving many to wonder if it was a subtle dismissal of the WNBA dream. The outcry from the fan base was immediate and passionate. Calls for the Indiana Fever to offer Gabbie Marshall a tryout flooded social media, fueled by nostalgia and the undeniable chemistry she shared with Clark at Iowa. Many argued that given Clark's star power and influence, securing a tryout for her former teammate should be a given. A sign of this fervent belief in Marshall's WNBA potential, despite her retirement, collided head-on with the cold, hard facts of professional sports, where roster spots are scarce and sentimental gestures rarely dictate team decisions, setting up an inevitable clash of expectation. It's critical to remember Marshall's journey since leaving Iowa's storied program. She didn't pursue professional basketball immediately. Instead, she enrolled at the University of North Carolina, dedicating herself to earning a master's degree. This impressive academic achievement underscored her intelligence and commitment to a life beyond the court, while she remained a loyal supporter, frequently attending Fever games to cheer on Clark. Her focus had clearly shifted. The transition back to elite-level basketball after a significant break is immensely challenging, a stark reality often overlooked amidst the excitement of a potential reunion fantasy. Some commentators quickly drew parallels to other NBA stars who've managed to get family members or close friends onto their teams, citing examples like J.R. Smith with his brother, or Giannis Antetokounmpo and his siblings. The argument was simple: if those legends could pull strings, surely Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's biggest draw, could at least secure a tryout for a former teammate. This comparison, however, glosses over the fundamental differences between the leagues and the intense competition for WNBA roster spots, especially for players who haven't actively competed for years. The WNBA operates under different pressures and tighter constraints. Adding fuel to the speculation fire, it was revealed the Indiana Fever currently have only 3 players under contract for the 2026 WNBA season, with Clark being one of them. This scarcity of long-term commitments suggested an open door, a potential window for new talent, even someone like Marshall. On paper, it looked like an opportunity ripe for the taking, a perfect scenario for the Fever to inject some Iowa magic back into their lineup. However, the apparent availability of roster spots often hides the complex strategic decisions and fierce competition for talent that truly drive WNBA team building, which few truly understand. But then the harsh economic realities of the WNBA's new collective bargaining agreement slammed into the feel-good narrative. While the league is proposing significant salary increases, including a potential $1 million base salary for top players and an average salary projected to exceed $500,000, these financial shifts come with their own set of profound challenges. This new CBA isn't just about bigger paychecks, it's about a fundamental restructuring of player compensation and team obligations, making every roster decision even more financially scrutinized and strategically critical for franchises operating under a strict salary cap environment. A major sticking point in the proposed CBA is the league's intention to cease covering player housing and other stipends. While players would receive substantially higher salaries, they would then be responsible for their own living expenses. This shift, a direct consequence of the increased pay, creates a complex financial landscape. Teams would become even more selective, needing players who not only perform on court, but also fit within tightened budgets for overall player compensation, making fringe roster spots incredibly valuable and harder to justify for unproven or returning talent like Marshall. This critical change in the CBA directly impacts the feasibility of someone like Gabbie Marshall securing even a tryout, let alone a roster spot, with teams having to factor in all player living costs. Taking a chance on a retired player, no matter their college pedigree, becomes a much riskier proposition. Every dollar counts, and teams will prioritize proven talent or high-potential rookies who can immediately contribute. The romantic notion of a friendly tryout begins to crumble under the weight of these new financial pressures, painting a grim picture for those hoping for an Iowa reunion. The proposed league minimum salary is projected to exceed $205,000. For many, this figure changes the conversation entirely. The argument from the league and some commentators is clear. With such a substantial income, players are fully capable of securing their own housing and covering personal expenses. This new financial independence, however, also places a greater burden on players to manage their finances, further highlighting that every player on a roster must be an indisputable asset, leaving little room for developmental or nostalgic choices in team composition. Another crucial element of the new CBA is the proposed increase in the salary cap to $5 million, a significant jump from the current $1.5 million. However, the seemingly generous increase comes with a major caveat: it would be directly tied to revenue growth each year. This means that while the ceiling is higher, the actual flexibility and guaranteed growth for teams are dependent on the league's overall financial success. It's not a blank check, it's a performance-based cap, making teams even more conservative with their spending and roster decisions, especially on unproven or speculative talent, adding another hurdle for Marshall. The WNBA is arguably the toughest professional league to enter, with limited roster spots and an incredibly high level of play. For someone like Gabbie Marshall, who has been out of competitive basketball for years, the challenge of returning to this elite level is immense. Even with her collegiate success and strong defensive skills, the transition back requires intensive training, adaptation to the professional game, and proving she can still perform at peak physical condition. This reality check often dampens the most enthusiastic fan expectations, highlighting the stark difference between college legend and WNBA hope. Considering the formidable hurdles presented by the new CBA and the intensely competitive nature of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark's "I'm so proud of you" begins to take on a different, more somber tone. Was it truly a celebration of Marshall's new career path, an acknowledgement that her friend found success outside of basketball? Or was it a subtle, perhaps even unintentional recognition that the WNBA door, at least for playing alongside Clark, had effectively closed? The message shifts from simple praise to a quiet confirmation of Marshall's post-basketball journey, a gentle push away from the court. In the cutthroat world of professional sports, managing expectations is paramount. Clark, now the face of the league, understands the immense pressure and the realities of team construction. Her seemingly innocuous comment could be interpreted as a subtle diplomatic way to acknowledge Marshall's life choices, while gently deflecting the widespread fan demand for a fevered tryout. It's a response that supports her friend as a person, without endorsing a basketball path that might not be viable, a nuanced communication designed to avoid outright disappointment or creating false hope for those eagerly watching the situation unfold. The entire situation highlights the stark contrast between the emotional, aspirational narratives perpetuated by fans and the cold, calculated business decisions that govern professional sports leagues. While fans envision a heartwarming reunion, teams like the Indiana Fever must make choices based on performance, salary cap implications, and long-term strategy, not sentimentality. This disconnect creates tension, especially when beloved college players like Marshall enter the periphery of the WNBA, often finding the path to the pros far more complex and unforgiving than romanticized fan theories would suggest. The broader public reaction to the new CBA proposals, especially the removal of housing benefits, has been sharply divided. Some argue that with significantly increased salaries, players should indeed cover their own living costs, embracing the financial independence that comes with higher pay. Others contend that the unique demands of professional athletes, including seasonal relocation, warrant continued league support for housing. This ongoing debate about player welfare versus financial responsibility further complicates the already intricate landscape of WNBA player contracts and team budgets, impacting every potential roster move. Therefore, the rejection faced by Gabbie Marshall isn't a personal slight from Caitlin Clark or even a direct snub from the Fever. It's a systemic rejection rooted in the harsh economic realities of the WNBA, the intense competition for limited spots, and the profound changes brought about by the new CBA. Her move to Indiana, while bringing her closer physically, highlights the chasm between shared college glory and the unforgiving professional landscape. It's a powerful lesson that passion and history often yield to practicalities and cold, hard numbers in elite sports, a tough pill to swallow for many. So when Caitlin Clark declared, "I'm so proud of you," to Gabbie Marshall, it wasn't just a friendly message, it was a loaded statement, subtly acknowledging Marshall's intelligent post-basketball choices, while quietly closing the door on the WNBA reunion dream for those paying close attention. The tale of Gabbie Marshall's return to Indianapolis isn't a story of a triumphant basketball comeback, but a stark reminder of the brutal realities of professional sports and how even the strongest collegiate bonds can bend under the weight of WNBA economics. The unspoken truth behind those 4 words echoes much louder than any public announcement.